Welcome to Curious Goldfish, a podcast community where music and curiosity come together through interesting conversations with the music makers of our world. I'm your host, Jason English. You can find Curious Goldfish in all the major podcast and social media platforms. And of course, we have all of our content on our website, curiousgoldfish.com. Kate, so nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Thanks so much for joining me.
Thank you.
What's the best part about your week so far here in Nashville?
Oh, just meeting all these amazing musicians that everyone's so kind, which is, like you can come for a hustle and sometimes it can be a little all business, but this is got the business and it also has the pleasure, and not in like a party intrusive way. Like we're being very productive, very professional, very kind, very inclusive, very just all high vibes.
Okay.
So that's really nice.
So this thing's called the Ari Retreat. It's a collection of producers and artists and songwriters for 3 or 4 days here in Nashville at a few Airbnb houses. It's just like this melting pot of kind of creativity.
Yeah.
What's a good outcome for you after this week?
I just want to make a little surprise comeback. Like I've done that several times. Been signed to about 5 labels now.
Oh my gosh.
So, and big ones. And this would be like the little engine that could. Like just really guerrilla style, just getting in there and making shit happen that is meaningful and the cream rises to the top.
Yeah.
Like you can't stop good music.
Yeah.
And I've learned that the hard way. All it needs is just a little spark, and then you can pour the gasoline and let it blow up later. So that's the plan.
All right.
Yeah.
So what moment so far this week, I know we're on the last day, but so far this week, what's the moment that you're like, okay, like that's it, or that's exciting?
I've had several moments because I chose to come in like a Swiss Army knife. I wanted to be dynamic. I wanted to use my versatility. I've had a lot of chapters to my career, a lot of revolutionary changes, and a lot of incarnations. And so I wanted to access all those pieces that I leaned into in those moments and offer them for others to benefit from, because there's a lot of newcomers here. There's a lot of people that have been on the grind and they're just at that breaking point. So I was like, I want to help others pop, and by giving out, I received so much back.
Yeah.
I got to write a huge song that belongs on a video game, or maybe it would be used for like a sports commercial or something like really big and bombastic. And then I did a Sade type track for myself, but it had a collaborator with 2 young amazing men, LaGrange and Rudy Wade are featuring on that as a collaboration, a trio, and they're just bringing me forward to a new audience, and I'm lending, this old school vibe for them, and it's a beautiful collaboration there. And then another one, which was totally different, that we're going to do is going to be with KY Honey. We're going in with James, who was in American Authors, and we're going to kill it with, Rissa Vibes is going to be there, and Kaya. I think she's called Lucky Dog. Okay. So we're doing a girl gang anthem today. I mean, it's just all over the place.
Oh my gosh.
The possibilities are endless.
Yeah.
And I'm just in so much appreciation for the diversity that was offered at this retreat, and the fact that you can come and meet with so many different types of artists and find a way to collaborate, because we're all part of the collective here.
Yeah,
so.
That's neat.
Yeah.
You kind of touched on it, but what's always amazing to me is the level of talent, and just in a couple of days here, the people I've met and the music that I'm sort of hearing in the background. What's crazy to me is the fine line between sort of quote unquote making it and not. Yeah. And like, there's a lot of people here, they just need the opportunity. They just need the spotlight, because if you listen to them and hear them and watch them, it's like there's so much stuff that's out there that's no better than what we're hearing here. Correct. Yeah. Like, what do you attribute that to? Is
a platform.
Just the platform?
Platform and advocate and knowing your frickin' rights. It's so important to be able to access a place that appreciates you, understands you, and gives you a place to shine. And that is, I'm going to say shout out to Matt Tuck at Nebula, because he will sit there and take 24 hours out of his day and listen to everybody's stuff and make sure that they're heard. Literally in his ears. He lends his ears, and then he thinks, how can I help this person reach the right outlet for what they would shine in? And he gives them that chance. And sometimes he's just really good at finding a match. Like, he comes up with ideas as a curator that will allow something to exist that would be so much more special than if everyone was just doing this independent idea. He'll be like, but what if? And he's very generous with his creativity in that way of envisioning a future for you. And then it's infectious. It makes you feel confident. It makes you feel driven. It makes you reach for things that you couldn't have, seen for yourself, because we can get isolated in how we think our identity is represented or how we should be expressing ourselves as an artist. And it's important to have a place where you have room to evolve and you have room to grow and transcend your current spot, because that's where we reach the most, is when we're challenging ourselves.
Right. So if that's your good or great, describe the opposite in the experiences you might have had. It sounds like you've had a few different trials with different companies and whatever. If that's good, what's bad?
What's bad? I've been around. I'm an industry veteran for 20 years. I broke in 2005 for Warner Brothers, a subsidiary of Warner Brothers. I was modeling for Hurley at the time, and Abercrombie at the same time as putting out music on their platforms and releasing alongside. This is how long I've been in it. Incubus was my backup band on my first album.
All right.
They went to high school with the guy that owned the label, and I was discovered at Hotel Cafe by Ann Litt. Thank you, Ann Litt, if you see this. Thank you for giving me my first break, because she scouted me and put me straight on KCRW. And if you know about KCRW, it's in Billie Eilish's documentary. Yeah. It is like just the cream of the crop for what is tasteful and like independent and like just on the brink. And Anlet gave me my chance, and Incubus was right there playing with me in the studio. That was my first time on the radio. Wow. And I've had an amazing trajectory as far as an independent run goes, but I've had so many lost opportunities based on politics, based on ego, based on cockfights and behind the scenes bullshit. Like, if you have shit that you need to solve from your childhood, go ahead and deal with it as soon as you can, because it will surface in your work. It will surface in your creativity. It'll surface in your ability to grab an opportunity and run. It'll fuck with your confidence, and it'll hold you back. And I wish that we were given things like financial literacy in school, or at least if you're coming into a business, that should be accessible. And just check on mental health. Like, that's now okay to talk about mental health. But a lot of artists find music and become artists because it is a healing mode. This is medicine. And we end up kind of, not understanding how to lock into it, because we're so busy kind of like trying to just self-medicate through it. And it's just really clumsy. And so rather than be random, dig in and find some homework, find the modes that work for you, and come in educated with what the industry, how it works, like what the rules are. Like, no one's going to look out for you. You have to be looking out for all of it, like your instrument, your health, your well-being, like I said, the mental health, and your rules, your regulations, your rights. I can't stop talking about it because I have been taken advantage. These boilerplate contracts are made to give as little as possible, and the people around that in the norm, the gatekeeping community of the industry, expects that the artist will be exploited. That is the bottom line of how it's run. And so, it's just a shame.
Is the industry any better today in terms of women than it was 20 years ago when you got in?
I don't know. I mean, I can't speak to that as far as like the current American scene, because I left America. I had been through Warner Brothers, Universal, and Sony, and I had been wrung out like a rag. I had been asked to abort a child in the middle of a campaign, and then I was asked on a campaign about being a single mom, I was asked to give up custody of my son because I raised $30,000 to get my own tour bus, which they said was the problem why I had to give him away. I was dropped in the middle of a international tour between here and Canada, a 20,000-mile trip, like arenas, stadiums, like Hershey Stadium I played at, Jones Beach Arena, like the best things that you could be asking an artist to achieve, and yet I was being treated like they owned me and my kid.
Right.
So, fuck that. Sorry if I'm not supposed to cuss, but you know, what industry says that they have a right to how your family is structured? What is that?
Yeah.
And that was the second label to do that to me.
Yeah.
And it was in a contract once. I wasn't allowed to be distracted. I couldn't be married. I couldn't be seen as in a relationship. Social media has changed since that time to where it's cute to be in you can be couple goals and all that stuff. But so it's loosened up a lot. But the craziness that happened over in England is I went over there because I was noticing all of my royalties were the most from there. So long story short, I get to England on a music visa.
Okay.
And I end up in a position where and this is Adele's lawyer, is my lawyer in the UK. Like, I couldn't have anyone better. He's called Spraggan the Dragon. And he goes, beware, if the label thinks that you have trouble with your manager, it will compromise the safety of your place at your label. And I had a manager who, he did this thing where he would automatically take 50% of your income. He didn't represent anyone, and I couldn't get anyone faster, and I was going to miss the boat on having a deal. So I had to sign with this manager. He came highly recommended, but 50% is a steep cut.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Of everything.
Yeah.
And England is one of the most expensive cities in the world.
Yeah.
So, you know, I was going through child custody battle. I had crazy legal bills. I mean, I was trashing my credit to keep my lawyers paid because I wanted to raise my baby. I didn't. This is the third time I'm going through this with my kid. So there came a moment where I either had to abandon the whole project or I had to find cash under the table.
Yeah.
And my legal bills were steep. So I ended up at a strip club to supplement my freaking record deal. At 35, I walked in with my Pilates body, thank you, and I got in at the most lucrative strip club, double lifing a nightlife as a woman of the night. Like, you know, I wasn't a sex worker.
Right.
Some people consider stripping a sex worker thing, but in this environment, it wasn't like, there were no back rooms, if you know what I mean. There were like private dances, but it wasn't gross or anything. Yeah. For what it was, I was very lucky to be there. So, and I said to him, hey, I would really like to stop this lifestyle. And he was fine with it. There was no concern. Like, and if I had switched out of that manager, I would have lost my whole deal. So I had to keeping up this lifestyle of stripping or being a dancer and being available to my steady clients on that side, and then pretend it wasn't happening and show up and shine for 40 to 60 hours in the music world on tour and do this like crux thing. Like, how is that okay? How is that? And I'm not alone in that. There are plenty of girls that are doing OnlyFans to supplement their deals. I mean, it should be that if you are good at what you do, you get paid for it, and you get paid well, and you get a wage where you can make a living and you can survive and you can thrive and you have more to give because you are doing well. And that is what Matt is trying to establish at Nebula. And I hear there's a partnership with Love Renaissance coming together where maybe there's this sweet spot where people don't have to, you know, cut off an arm and a leg to just get through the door. So let's hope this all comes together in my case, because I certainly have the track record. I certainly have the experience to offer. And I have been seeing a lot of other artists that could bring it and really shine if they just have that moment.
Okay. Well, given all that you've been through, I guess why do you keep going?
It's kind of like the responsibility of the gift, right? And again, because I had unresolved issues that I hadn't treated, I hadn't been able to access, because unfortunately, in other countries such as like Canada and the UK where I lived, if you have issues, you can actually say, hey, I'd like to go to see the doctor, and it's included. Even as a person who had a visa, I could go to the doctor. I could go to get therapy. That's accessible for everyone. They think that's a basic human right to access those things, and that's beautiful. But here, good luck. Like, real talk, like, you're gonna have to call the Salvation Army 800 number. It's a great resource. There's nice counselors there. Like, you know, whatever you have to do. And what are we talking, like, to go to therapy is like $300 an hour.
So the responsibility of the gift, that's a beautiful way of saying
okay, so that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, that's a beautiful way of saying that you've got something that you feel responsible to let the world see.
So if I can clean up all that bullshit, and I can let my little light shine, and I can give myself permission to occupy space, to have value, to have worth, then my gift is, through that little contract with myself, I can come forward into a belonging rather than feeling like a sham or feeling like an outsider or feeling like, oh, okay, well, you can screw me over. Like, that's all my energy. And when I've cleaned up my energy and I've come into it in a place where don't mess with me, like I get it now, then everything that I do is going to come with that integrity and that authenticity, because I'm not trying to please anymore.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm sure another reason that you want to continue is, you know, you have a beautiful family.
Yes, I do.
So tell us about them. And I think you just moved to Asheville, North Carolina.
That's
tell us about that.
Okay, so I'm going to give my shout out to Britney Spears, because she is the reason why I'm able to build my dream home in Asheville, North Carolina, which is, if you haven't heard of it, it's like a slice of heaven in the mountains, in the Blue Ridge Mountains. And I grew up in Alaska, so I love the mountains, and that just feels like home to me. And so I got to discover on Instagram one day that Britney Spears had posted my song that I did in England, that I had suggested to the label should be the first single. I thought it was really strong. It has a secret message in it that I wrote about it. The intro is, I earned a pretty penny, I turned a head or two. I'm talking about stripping.
Right.
I'm writing this secret pen about my secret life, my double identity, and that is the song that I felt was the most true to where I was really at. I asked the label to put it out first. It didn't happen. So that was 2017. In 2022, Britney gets pregnant.
Right.
She posts herself eating chocolate to my song, and it just went like wildfire through the internet, like over to Facebook, over to TikTok, and ended up, if you look in the meta data, as of 2022-23, there was 5 billion streams of the song, because it was put on so many reels with millions of plays. So that recouped my publishing deal. Almost recouped my record deal. I mean, I feel like they take that and shake it and rinse it, and you just don't ever get to recoup.
And what's the name of the song?
It's called All That Glitters.
All That Glitters, okay.
Yeah,
awesome.
One time for the money. Yeah, all that glitters isn't gold. So, and it was like a cautionary tale. Like, don't just fall for the shtick. Like, you have to vet the situation that you're going to be in. Or you could end up having to, you know, earn a pretty penny. So it was a moment. It was like a precipice of becoming the phoenix and rising from the ashes and being my own glitter, my own gold, my own diamond. And I'm really proud of the fact that that happened. And so I've got this beautiful home, and there's space in it now for a studio, and I'm going to host a bunch of the artists that I've met here. And it's just a really creative, prolific time to just be inspired and transcend past all this bullshit and alchemize that history into beauty to give back and be like, here, guys, here's a map. Like, you know, don't do what I did. Life can be smoother for you. And, you know, I think one of the most inspiring people that makes me want to talk about this stuff, because I ordinarily in old days it'd be like, hide it all, smooth it over, put the smile on, you're a poster child. Now everyone gets to speak their truth, and a person who makes me feel so motivated to do that and give back is Maya Angelou. I know why the caged bird sings. She was given the presidential award, just recognized for her ability to tell a story. And she was a musician. She worked as an actual prostitute. she transcended all of that, and that just gives me so much hope for my future. And she worked until she left the planet, and a lot of this industry can come with ageism.
Mm-hmm.
I am 42 years old, and I'm just getting started, and I'm going to be here forever. And it is my honor to represent women who begin to be faded out of the industry because they have a family, they have kids, and I am taking on the affirmation that I get to have it all. I can balance work life and family life beautifully. Things can work in harmony. I can have symmetry to my relationships and my love, and I can do this all in joy. And there can be an abundance of time. There can be abundance of money. There can be abundance of all the good things in life. And so I'm just taking it as a decision. Like, no one gets to take that from me. No one gets to prescribe that to me. That's just what it is now for me and my family.
Did you buy the Biltmore in Asheville? Is that where is that the house you bought? The big, the giant?
I'm down the road. I'm like half an hour, 20 minutes, half an hour from it.
That's a lot of streams. You probably, that's good.
Well,
good for you. That's awesome.
I had like a percentage of the song, and then I sold some of it to do the down payment. So I still own a percentage.
Okay. Awesome.
So
you've been through a lot. I guess at this point in your career, where are you at, as an artist, and where do you want to be?
I'm reinventing, and so I've got a couple of, I kind of see them like, they're not characters, but they're aspects of myself that I like to step into fully. Like you've seen Taylor Swift, for example, right? She's taken all that BS from her being 13 years old and signed into one of those crappy deals and never being able to buy her master's back. So what did she do? She took it upon herself not to let anyone define her. She re-recorded her master. So I have pushed past the re-record date, and I'm now recreating my hit as a new master, and I am going on the road by myself, paying for my own radio promo.
Awesome.
And I'm just going to see if I can make it pop by myself with the help of Nebula Records, with the help of Love Renaissance. But this is my vision. I'm at the helm. Yeah. I am the master of my fate in this situation. And it feels really exciting to be partnering in this way with people who get it and who believe in it and want to facilitate the pop. Yeah. Because we all just want to shine, and we all just want to give what we have to share. Like, music, like I said, is it's medicine, and it's a thread that is it breaks through language, it breaks through culture, it breaks through distance. It is timeless. It lasts forever. Like, music is magic, and I am so lucky to have it in me, and I'm so lucky to share it.
Okay. Well, you've talked about abundance a few times, and the term perseverance comes to mind hearing you talk. I'm a big proponent of the importance of curiosity, right? Just in life and relationships and in the corporate world or whatever. I don't think there's enough of it. I guess at your stage in your career, what are you most curious about?
What am I most curious about? Just kind of finding out how far I can take it, because the mindset before was always like, if I could just, maybe I can, it was always a maybe and and then when I'd get somewhere, I was on the Billboard charts, like I was in the Hot 100. I've been at the top of iTunes, number ones. Like, I've had these moments, and then in those moments I did that thing where I felt like, wait, really? Me? Yeah. And rather than that mindset of, like feeling like you're getting in a car wreck every time something good happens, I'm trying to turn my cup up and just receive it all, and then see if that's a jumping board, to like a springboard to like continue up, and see. So that's my mindset now, is just to see how far I can take it and be open to things not being as I think them in my mind. Yeah. I think I got caught up as a younger artist saying, it should happen this way, and I want these things, and they should come to me X and Y and Z. And rather than that, just get out of the how and just aim for, I'm just going to keep going and keep building. And it doesn't matter how. It just matters that there's notable, like, upward spiral. Okay. So
does that confidence, you think, come from obviously your experiences with the record labels and the music stuff, but does it also come from the fact that, like, you've got a great relationship with your husband, the
Oh, yeah.
kids, Asheville, and you've come out of a pretty toxic relationship. Like,
Yes.
you've come out of it. Now you've got that confidence.
Yeah, you have to clean all that up, and it comes in baby steps. Like, you take one little boundary, and it allows you to start understanding that you can apply it in so many ways. I can have boundaries with my sleep. I can have boundaries with how much water I get and how much sugar I won't eat. And that self-care just trickles into all the decisions you make, all the words that you write. Like, you just have more to give.
Yeah.
The more that you, like the saying goes, you cannot pour from an empty cup. So the more you fill yourself, the more that you have to offer. And then people always have a place. When you know, like, there's a demand for someone who has something to give. There's always a spot. There's never, I've learned that there's a place for you with what you have. You just have to be in that integrity.
Awesome. All right.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for doing this.
Yeah,
thanks for
thank you.
talking, and good luck the rest of this week. Sounds like it's been successful.
Yes.
And we look forward to the new master of the things. That's exciting.
I know.
Yeah,
It's
what's
a
the timing of
little
that?
underdog story,
Yeah, what's the
isn't it?
timing of that, do you think?
This year.
This year? Okay.
This year.
Okay.
So, I mean, if I would hope that we'll see. I mean, things slow down real quick when the holidays come for the
Right.
industry, but I think we can get this popping probably, before the holidays.
Okay.
Yeah, so we'll
Awesome.
see. It's a sparkly song. People have already heard it, so it seems like it would make sense. I'm not going to limit anything, so, but it's going to be good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks for your time.
Yeah, thanks.
All right. Thanks.